The dawn arrived softly, with the same golden hush as any other morning. Birds chirped beyond the windowpane, and light filtered in through gauzy curtains, casting delicate patterns on the walls. Still, a quiet tension coiled in my chest, a vague unease I chalked up to the anticipation of the day ahead. After all, it was Rachel's sister's wedding, a grand celebration in the countryside, filled with the kind of luxury and charm you only see in curated Instagram feeds and bridal magazines. The manor was stunning, perched amid rolling hills, its stone facade framed by vibrant flower beds and towering oaks swaying gently in the breeze. The scent of jasmine and freshly mown grass hung in the air. Guests arrived in an array of elegant attire, silks, tailored suits, polished shoes, and laughter floated freely as glasses clinked and hugs were exchanged. Rachel looked breathtaking. She wore a deep burgundy dress that clung to her figure with effortless grace. Her dark curls fell in perfect waves, bouncing with every step. As she walked beside me, our hands clasped loosely, she smiled for photos and chatted with relatives, slipping so seamlessly into the spotlight that I felt like a prop in the backdrop of her perfect frame. I told myself to focus on the joy, to soak in the celebration. But something in me wouldn't settle. A quiet murmur. A sense that something wasn't quite right. I dismissed it as pre-wedding jitters, or maybe just the unfamiliarity of being a guest rather than a participant in such a big event. The ceremony was exquisite. Rachel's sister floated down the aisle like a vision, her smile radiant beneath a lace veil. The vows were tender, deeply personal, promises wrapped in raw emotion that drew tears from even the most stoic guests. A string quartet played softly in the background, and the warm afternoon sun bathed everything in golden light. The reception was a dream. Inside the grand hall, chandeliers sparkled like captured stars. White roses adorned the tables, their petals gleaming in the glow of countless candles. A soft jazz band played mellow tunes that wrapped around the room like silk. Champagne flowed, laughter filled the air, and couples swayed gently on the dance floor. I tried to lose myself in the moment, to be present, to dance, to smile, to drink. But then I noticed it. Rachel had changed, subtly, almost imperceptibly at first. A glance at her phone that lingered too long. A step outside, alone, claiming she needed fresh air. Fingers moving with urgency over the screen. Text, a reply, another text. I wanted to believe it was nothing. Just the chaos of the day. But a deeper part of me, the part that had long noticed late-night calls she'd brush off, missed dinners she excused away, vague explanations that never quite added up, began to stir. That part whispered that I already knew the truth. I just hadn't faced it. And then I saw them. In a shadowed corner near the bar, where the light dimmed and the chatter dulled, Rachel stood with a man I didn't recognize. He was tall, effortlessly confident, and the way he looked at her, it wasn't casual. It was intimate, familiar. Froze. She laughed at something he said, her hand lightly brushing his sleeve. Her face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in months, warm, unguarded, alive. And in that laugh, I felt the weight of 1,000 silent moments between us. The late nights, the half-truths, the emotional distance I tried to explain away. I told myself to look away, to breathe. Maybe it was innocent, but then he leaned in, and she didn't step back. Their lips met in a kiss, brief but unmistakable. Not clumsy or unsure but practiced, comfortable, real. The world fell away. The music, the voices, the clinking glasses, all of it dulled to a hollow hum. My chest tightened. My vision blurred at the edges. I stood there, watching the woman I had married, the woman I trusted, the woman I loved, kiss another man at her own sister's wedding. I didn't make a scene. I didn't shout or scream. I simply turned. My feet moved on their own, slow and heavy, carrying me out of the hall, past the glowing lanterns and the laughter I no longer belonged to, into the garden, where only moonlight and silence greeted me. The air was cool, but I didn't feel it. I felt nothing but the ache hollowing out my chest. Called my best friend. My voice cracked as I spoke the words out loud for the first time. She kissed someone else. even saying it felt unreal. But it was real. And it broke something in me that couldn't be fixed. That night I drove home alone. The road blurred beneath my headlights. The image of her glowing eyes and his hand on her waist burned into my memory. When I reached our apartment, I knew what I had to do. I packed a small bag, clothes, toiletries, a few keepsakes that still felt like mine. I left everything else behind. I didn't yell or accuse. I didn't ask for an explanation. I sent her a message with 3 words. It's over. No rage. No bargaining. Just finality. For days I ignored her calls. Her texts grew increasingly frantic. First confused, then apologetic, then desperate. But I didn't respond. I needed space. I needed clarity. And then one night she came to the door. She looked broken. Her eyes were red and swollen, her makeup smudged from tears. She clutched a bouquet of lilies. My favorite, though I don't know if she remembered that or just Googled apology flowers. Her voice trembled as she spoke. She said it was a mistake. That she'd been confused. That the kiss meant nothing. That she loved me. I listened. Every word sliced deeper. Because beneath her regret, I saw the truth. She wasn't sorry she kissed him. She was sorry she got caught. And love without loyalty is just a performance. When she finished, I met her gaze and spoke, calmly, evenly. You didn't just betray me. You betrayed the life we were building. You kissed him while your sister walked into forever with the man she loved. You broke faith, not just with me but with your family, with yourself. I can't unsee what I saw. And I won't pretend it didn't happen. Her cries turned frantic. She begged for another chance. Promised she'd do anything. But I had nothing left to give. Some wounds bleed too deeply to ever heal. And some bridges burn too thoroughly to ever be rebuilt. You made a choice, I said. And now you have to live with it. In the weeks that followed, I began to heal. I leaned on my friends. I went for long walks in the early morning quiet. I revisited old hobbies, rediscovered forgotten passions. Guitar, sketching, writing. I allowed myself to feel the grief, the anger, the loss. And through it all, I slowly stitched myself back together. I realized leaving wasn't a defeat. It was an act of self-respect. Months passed. Rachel reached out again. Her messages were softer this time, filled with apologies, stories of personal growth, confessions of regret. She wanted to meet, talk, try again. But I never replied. Because I had found peace. In silence. In solitude. In truth. That night at the wedding, once the darkest, most painful night of my life, was also the beginning of my rebirth. I walked out shattered, yes. But I also walked out stronger. And in the end, I wasn't broken. I was free.